Wait, what episode is this?
Welcome. This is Figure It Out, episode
23?
23, I believe. Yes. We're on episode 23. Who would have thought we'd make it this far? Hip hop, yeah. And I got ginger beer here. It's not like a real beer, but it's like beer, totally.
Awesome. I just took a shot of absinthe.
I think that actually has alcohol in it. Not sure though.
It was 69%. I didn't know it was that strong when I took the shot, and then it burned pretty good going down. I was like, that burned quite a bit, but I mean, it was doable.
You're like, oh, there's alcohol in there.
Yeah, they told me it's 69%. I was like, that didn't burn that bad. But
yeah, so first of all, before we jump into everything, the Democrats, the left. The Democrats have become the left. They didn't used to be. You know, we used to have JFK going, not what you could do for your country. I mean, not what your country could do for you, but what you could do for your country, right?
Mm.
But, now they're just like, give me my student payments, give me my health care, give me everything for free, even though we don't have the trillions upon trillions that it would take to pay for all. and now
things aren't going exactly my way. I'm gonna throw a hissy fit.
Yeah. And now, they also like when I knew it was dead, because like me with my fucking far left shit, because my son, like I'm left. That's not left. I don't know how you, but because like they just got hammered. Because the thing is that broke it for me when the Democrats started claiming #resist. That's when I knew that the movement got co-opted. Because you're the freaking establishment. You can't resist against yourself. like
right.
Before it was always like, yeah, fuck the system. But now when the system is saying #resist, it's like, and people are going along with it because they hate Trump so much. They're like, yeah, resist. It's like, no, these are for the people who we've been resisting against.
Right. Well, I don't know. This could be like some sort of switching of like beliefs or whatever. Because I mean, Republicans and Democrats had different beliefs and objectives back when they first started compared to how they are now. They're much different parties from what they were back then. Back when America began. So this could just be them switching it up again. Who knows? But it's kind of funny to think about, because like, what you're just destroying everything that you believe in by doing this #resist thing. It's
I don't know, because I'm about that resist shit, but not if it's the fucking establishment. And then are we resisting ourselves? Like, no, I don't want to resist with them.
Right. Yeah, it's super broad too. So I mean, it's open to interpretation. One person might take #resist one way, while another person takes it way more extreme.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, the whole thing's just got co-opted and it's bullshit. But speaking of switching, wait, yeah, I don't know. I think the Democratic Party though has always made those like switches and whatnot, where
the Republicans just adapt.
Yeah, it's like the Democrats are like, we want this switch now, and then the Republicans are always kind of on the defense. They're kind of just reacting. You know, like, all right.
Part of being conservative, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay, now they want to do this. No. Oh, now they're doing that. No. You know. The Republican stands up and says no to the bullshit.
Yeah. But I mean, that's probably where the whole progressive and conservative names come from. Is, you know, the Democrats are always switching things up, and, you know, as progressives, and Republicans are always reacting as conservatives.
Yeah, it's funny, but
because Republicans used to be all for, you know, no racism.
Wait,
now apparently Republicans are super racist, you know.
They say that. That's a lie, though. They're still the ones who are against racism.
Right. I'm just saying it's funny.
Yeah, no, because like you know, it's the people. Oh, I stand with black people. Fuck Trump. Those are the first ones. Like, and then as soon as they turn around, if you don't agree with them on something, then I lose my black card. You know, I'm not really black if I'm not down with them.
Yeah, if you don't agree with every single thing they say.
Yeah.
The white man got you.
Oh man.
Hashtag resist.
Hands up, resist. Wait. You get in trouble there. I mean, I'm not resisting. Man. But speaking of the cops, you had a really good story for this week.
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks now since this happened, but yeah, LAPD of all people, I felt they actually did some things right this time. There was a shooting, a police-involved shooting at a Trader Joe's down in LA, in which there you go, Dos Equis. Real beer. Yeah, and in which Trader Joe's employee wound up getting shot by the police. You brought it up. You brought it to my attention that at first police tweeted that the whole incident was ended without, you know, any casualties or anything like that, and then it later turned out that, you know, a woman was shot and she died, unfortunately. But within a week, they released all information, all evidence, even body cam footage of the incident, and so and they admitted fault. So I think they got that part right, at least. And I just wanted to give credit to them for not trying to hide a mistake that they made, and they just came out with the information right away.
Yeah. You know, it's an improvement over Rodney King, you know.
Yeah, I say so.
LAPD's moving on up.
Work in progress.
Yeah. Yeah, you know,
it didn't take them 2 months, and then they're like, we'll release this information eventually. And then after a while, they're like, there actually is no evidence because all the body cam footage was not recorded or something stupid like that. You know, they released everything that they had on the whole, you know, incident, and let it be known to the public what actually happened. So
right, because the perpetrator, it was still the perpetrator's fault that even though the cops shot the lady, you know, it was because it was in crossfire with trying to stop him.
Yeah, what happened was the lady, she worked at Trader Joe's, heard the whole thing going on outside. She tried to run out of Trader Joe's as the suspect was running inside, while police were shooting at him, and she wound up getting hit by one of the bullets instead of. Sorry, that's not funny. That's not funny. She wound up getting shot instead of the suspect. But
you got the giggles. You gotta just laugh at it. Like, I understand. Like,
it sucks. It sucks that it happened. I don't mean to laugh at an innocent person dying, and that's not the part that I'm laughing about. But now I'm just laughing at the fact that I laughed in the first place. But
sometimes you need laughter to alleviate.
We'll call it that. But yeah, I did want to give him credit for that. And I feel like this is something that could be improved upon too. As you brought to my attention, they originally tweeted that nothing bad happened during the altercation when in fact it had. But they should probably work on that. Maybe change who's doing the tweets or something.
Yeah. That's why my take on this whole thing was like awesome but sucks, but awesome but sucks, but really awesome. Yeah. Like they did a tremendous job of following the guy, high speed chase and everything, narrowing him down, cornering him, and getting him taken care of with as little as incident as possible.
Mm.
There was an incident, though, that lady obviously died, and then someone else got injured pretty bad. But given the event, it would have been pretty hard for that not to happen. But the fact that only one person died, it is still, it's a tragedy and a success at the same time. And
I want to give credit for them, being honest and forward with what actually happened. I'm not, even really trying to talk on the lady dying. Obviously, that's unfortunate. Nobody wants to hear about that. But the fact that they handled it properly is what I wanted to share.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and kudos to them at not only on handling it properly, but the bravery it would take for that task, and and doing it so efficiently as possible. Right. But there's obviously room for improvement. Except
for sure.
with no incidents. But there was that, and so the fact that they tweeted out there wasn't maybe whoever's in charge of their Twitter team needs to get a little suspension or something at least,
somebody screwed up there. That shouldn't happen. That was like when Trump puts out one of his crazy tweets, and then it's like who's in charge of this? Who's keeping this guy out? Like, who's keeping an eye on this guy's Twitter usage?
It just goes to show, man, never trust Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, you could just right off the top of your head feel like, hey, I need to let everybody know this, and then you realize you shouldn't have done that after you already posted it too late.
And Public Enemy.
What cracks me up about Trump, though, is that he's unapologetic about any of his tweets, though. Even when it's fucked up, he's like, no, I meant it. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
No, Public Enemy, though, has some great wisdom on this, and don't believe the hype, because everyone gets so wrapped up in what something was said on Twitter, but
right,
yeah, that's all fodder,
Yeah. So good job, LAPD. Still got work to for improvement. Plenty of room for improvement, but keep moving forward instead of backward, hopefully. And maybe we won't have this tension between citizens and police here in a few years. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, keep it up. That's so one of the big pros is those body cams, and actually no bullshit about the body cam broke or it fell off again. Like
I forgot to turn it on.
Yeah, like
It didn't record.
Have them on always record, and put the footage out right away like you did, and then that way, that transparency will create the trust between the people and the police, and things could be healed.
That's what I'm hoping for. Yeah. But so you wanted to talk about how Judeo-Christian society keeps capitalism going, not that capitalism actually works, right? Something like that.
Well, no, my thing was that pro-capital, a lot of pro-capitalists have stated that it's the Ben Shapiro has said this among others, of how capitalism has been the greatest tool to bring civilization out of poverty and uphold the wealth of society throughout history. It's been the greatest wealth generator, but
yeah, but it's the way it's set up. It's inevitably gonna crash, I would think. I'm no expert, but that's how it seems to me. We just create a bigger and bigger debt until it just can't hold itself up anymore.
I don't know, but that's
I feel like it worked better on a smaller scale, and now that we're as big as we are, we need to move towards something different.
Well, I think DeBord actually said something similar to that in Society of the Spectacle, but I don't necessarily agree with that. As in just the reason capitalist systems are building that wealth. Well, obviously, of course, we have the most wealth in the world, right? But the thing is, poverty isn't an inherent bad.
Yeah.
For the human condition, we start in poverty, and then the cavemen grabbed the tools and they made this thing, and but our just base nature isn't wealth and abundance. That's something that has to be achieved. And I think in that respect, the biggest thing that has actually lifted people out of poverty, and the reason for those progressions isn't capitalism, but it's actually Judeo-Christian values. That's my argument.
Okay. And how do Judeo-Christian values help? As far as keeping capitalism going, or could you expand on that? How does Judeo-Christian values help in this situation?
Yeah, I have a few examples, but even before we get to that, I wanted to touch on some things, but yeah, I'll jump ahead in my points. So, for example, the evangelical movement, right? Evangelicalism,
right?
With even if you date all the way back to the Franciscans and the Dominicans, of reaching out to impoverished people to help them, that's always been a staple of helping thy neighbor, and really pushing for people to give to the poor. That
So you're talking about
I don't know what I don't know what system besides Judeo like stresses that as much, as Judeo-Christian principles do.
so just the fact that that it's a community working together is what keeps capitalism working. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm saying without that Judeo-Christian principle like structured within it, then capitalism would just give away to greed.
Okay.
Because capitalism isn't about like giving to your neighbor and feeding the poor and stuff. You know what I mean?
I see what you mean. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
It's just having
That's kind of the balance that capitalism requires, is that sort of sense of community and giving to those less fortunate is kind of what helps.
Yeah, I think I'm not a capitalist anyways, but I think the reason capitalism works as well as it does anyway, to the degree it does, is because of Judeo-Christian principles.
I see what you're saying. All right.
Yeah, I think without that, then it would just lead to moral decay, because it would only be that, that everybody.
We'd wind up with one of those post-apocalyptic scenarios or futuristic scenarios in movies where it's like you're either one of the few rich people that's running everything, or you're one of the poor slaves that's working for the man. There's no middle ground at all. So I think it's really bleak,
Right. Because it's all paragraphs. Because like even, if you look at all the failed capitalist systems, if you look at when India took on capitalism, Guatemala, Honduras actually, became a capitalist system, Libya.
I mean, they sort of tried it, but they fucked it up pretty bad.
Zimbabwe. Because they eventually just gave way to the greed.
Too many of those too many gangsters and stuff running shit down there already, to where it wasn't organized enough for it to work.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at Libya. If you don't have that moral grounding to society, as a foundation with it, it's gonna fall apart anyway. Despite this isn't capitalist, or for instance, I think anarcho-syndicalism is a better option, as a stepping stone moving forward. But either way, without a moral foundation, it falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's capitalism, socialism, whatever, and because we've seen socialism fall apart time and time again, and that's it's a really moralless system.
Mm-hmm.
And capitalism, I wouldn't say is as much anti-moral. It's just as long as you keep it to just a free market, right? As long as you have that means of free market, because then it has its own problems with then crony capitalism and stuff. So in each system in place is going to have its own thing that could get ran out of control if it doesn't have a foundation of moral principles.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Have you ever thought about or considered the possibility of a utopian society working? You ever watched anything on anything like that? Like some of their ideas of what might work in a utopian society?
Well, I think a utopian society is essentially communism. I think a utopian society is really evil.
Yeah,
don't want a utopian society. Like I think that's a kind of like a pipe dream to like really control people. I just want to be free and accept the risk that freedom comes with. Like America, like where like we have all this shitty crap in it, like there's this danger and that danger, but at least we have freedom. Whereas like a utopian society, then you couldn't have freedom because you couldn't really you just be a slave to this good place,
Right.
I don't want to just be good. I want to be bad. I don't not really, but I want the freedom to do so,
Right. But and so like maybe leaning more towards anarchy, like a little bit less of a ruling power and more freedom.
Yeah. I mean,
like I'm okay with anarchy. I'm fine with that, but I don't know how everybody else is gonna handle it.
No, and it's a matter of like,
just that word scares the shit out of people. I'm like, oh no, it's anarchy. Like
because
but no, anarchy isn't necessarily bad. That's just everybody, is under total control of what they're doing. Nobody controls them.
Yeah, if you have a completely moral, anarchy's like the end goal, right?
I feel like we're not mature enough yet as a society for anarchy.
Yeah, because we still have half of our population who wants to be babysitted. Like, but anarchy would just essentially, all right, everyone be an adult, be responsible for yourself, and do the right thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
But we're obviously a far way away from that, so we can't do that.
Yeah. I feel like as a society, we're still in like the late teenage stages. We're not adults. We're not ready.
Yeah, we're rebellious teens right now, and you can tell. You can tell with our president acts like a rebellious teen, and his dissenters act like rebellious teens.
Right.
Oh, Trump said this, so I'm gonna do the opposite. And Trump's like, they made fun of me, so I'm gonna make fun of them.
It's a lot of petty shit going on.
Man.
From adults, from people older than and supposedly more mature than we are. People that are supposed to be running our country. They're really petty.
Yeah, dude.
Grow up.
Yeah,
or so that we can move on to anarchy and we don't need you anymore.
Yeah, that's the thing. I want to get to the point where we have our military and stuff to protect us, and like we just get to the point where like we don't need it. We don't.
Right.
The government, the government should be so small and transparent that like we don't even know it's there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like all the social all the social programs should be by the people. They shouldn't even be from the government. Like the government should be like this, just like blank, like almost like just this transparent, like non-existent thing. Like, oh yeah, the government. But you know what I mean? It should be like through like.
All right, they I don't know what the government would do in mainly anarchistic in a society of anarchy. I don't know. Or would a government even be necessary, or do you just need people to organize what we vote for and whatnot? And like print out those papers to make it happen, or get that handled, like just somebody to run that stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what it should be like. All right, these little bit of things, like, like.
But it'd be just another job, just like everybody else has. It's just, but like really, there's not a whole lot going on there. You're not making any real decisions. You're just organizing how the decisions get made.
Yeah, well, I mean, besides the military and like the legal system, like what does the government need to do? Like, because if it has that amount,
And the legal system would be super simplified in that situation too. Like, don't kill anybody.
And like, hey, like back in the times where it was like, it was like, hey, he raped my sister. All right, we're gonna all go stone him to death then. Like, all right, yeah, that's fair.
Like, saying, I'm sorry.
Oh, so I was like, yeah, like the justice system would be similar. Like, yeah, we still have, you're innocent until guilty, but like, yeah, if you're like, it's
only a few rules you can break though. Like, pretty much don't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
The more you hurt somebody, the more you punish. That's it.
Yeah, pretty much. Really simple. I mean,
yeah, eye for an eye. Just back to that.
Exactly.
That'll keep people from raping people.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm down with that.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
and then you have more points on this?
Yeah, just like other areas that I want to put, like with overconsumption is a huge problem with capitalism, right? That was like one of the biggest demises of the Roman Empire and Babylon, and but because like they went, like they were really against Judeo-Christian values, right? But like with those in place, if people adhere to that, then overconsumption wouldn't really be a thing. You know what I mean? Because you want to live simply, and it's so hard for a rich man to enter heaven. So you just kind of do what you need, and you're not really trying to overconsume.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I like that though. That's,
because
could we reach that point in our lifetimes? Do you think? I mean, I don't know how long we're gonna live, but like assuming I still got like 50, 60 years left.
Yeah. Hey, well, one interesting thing I've learned about recently, there's a lot of scientists that have been saying that the person who's gonna live to be like 150 years old is already born, and that our generation, the millennials, like more and more, so like a lot more of us are gonna be like living to 100. Like that's gonna be like a common thing.
Huh? Because I have heard other scientists say that we've already reached the point of like our peak as far as like how old we're gonna get, and we're actually gonna see a decline now.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not a consensus or anything, but
yeah,
I
know it's a interesting thought either way.
Yeah,
because then like what, I don't know, just based on what we're doing to ourselves now, we're actually hurting our lifespan, not helping it anymore.
Well,
or we're doing so much, like we've advanced so much technologically that it'll be easy to live to 120, 130, 140 years old. That'd be kind of fun to find out, but it'll still be 80, 90 years before you and I have to worry about stuff like that. or we'll already be dead. Who knows?
Yeah, and then we just catch the decline, and we're like, we're good.
Yeah, I guess we missed it. Whatever.
Yeah, but I had looked also at this Pew Research Center's Global Indicator database, and they put out like all the countries that were really increasing with dissent against capitalism, like where they're growing like up to like 50% and stuff. You know, and like even countries like Czech Republic, Japan, the UK, you know, like Japan, huge capitalist like benefits, and like even they're like, a lot of the people are like, forget this. You know, you got Poland, like I don't know, go figure.
I had no idea.
Spain, Mexico, Italy, like all of these countries on a huge decline against capitalism. And, you know, like, I mean, Italy even had the black shirts, you know what I mean? So like they should know better, like the, like of something. And even there, even Italy's like, capitalism, nah, you know?
Right.
So, I mean.
Well, I mean, a lot of people can say they don't like capitalism, but I haven't heard anybody coming up with solutions.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You know, it's not necessarily the system of capitalism, but it has to be grounded in moral principles.
Right.
And with that will carry any system a lot further. That's why, you know, socialism can never thrive, because it's so immoral. In capitalism, it has to be free, like, because, you know, life is never fair. Like we all know that, right? But with it going unchecked, you know, like we have a good check and balance system here in the States. But you know, if it gets too unchecked, you know, we have crony capitalism, which eliminates freedom of opportunity, right? And so like, yeah, the more it could go unchecked, the more it could get corrupt and loss of morals and so forth.
Okay. Let's see. What was I gonna say? So yeah, kind of like capitalistic anarchy. A super small government. I don't know. Yeah, like we were saying, they only do a few things, or they're only in charge of a few things, and then the rest of it's up to the people.
Yeah, which is like, you know, the essential, like, you know, like I'm extremely conservative, if that makes sense. But like, if you know, if you could get as much as you could get rid of the government, you know, yeah.
That's a conservative thought, isn't it? Small government.
The less need for the government, than the bigger the people, the more powerful people. So
right, I'm down with that.
Yeah. So I want as much power to the people as possible.
Yeah, but then we got all these responsibilities.
Oh my gosh, responsibilities. You mean we actually have to adult?
Why can't we just let the government do it?
Can't the government just make all the policies and like take care of us for us? then good. We've always done such a good job in the past.
Clearly, that's not the solution.
Yeah, but going back, just so like to wrap it up, like, I mean, all the like major advances in civilization it's came from like, you know, like divine inspiration, like you know, like break it, you know, like even like with science, right? There's the pushback, but then eventually there's that quest, that seeking of knowledge, that seeking of truth, right? And you know, like, so like whether they like realize it, like that seeking of truth is powerful, you know. And but like even beyond that though, you know, it was Judeo-Christian principles that brought society out of slavery. You know, slavery has always been in existence throughout all of human history. And it was really those Judeo-Christian principles that eventually like push people like, hey, no, this is wrong. See, like it says, it says like, all this for like indentured like protect the indentured servants, and like even from the very first commandment, I'm the Lord your God who took you out of bondage from Egypt so that you can be free. It's like the very fundamental of it from the first commandment is like taking the lowest among us and bringing them to the greatest. I mean, that's not a capitalist principle. Right. Capitalist is like, no, me, I'm gonna get mine. It's not like us, this people, we're all gonna thrive. Like we all can. I believe there's enough for everyone to eat, and it doesn't have to be this us versus them mentality. Right. So that I think that's why it can work as long as it keeps a moral foundation.
Isn't it hard to? Don't you think it'd be hard to convince the powerful to relinquish a little bit of that power to create a balance? Because as in a capitalistic society, they, obviously they're just going to be like, "No, fuck you! I earned all this. It was mine." Wouldn't that be the hard part? Obviously, everybody at the bottom would be down for it, but everybody at the top might be like, "Hey, I'm not down for this."
Well, yeah, but with if it's a foundation of moral principles, then the people at the top, it's just because they work for it wholeheartedly, and they're gonna be willing to. They're gonna be they're at the top because they're willing to give the most. You know what I mean? Okay. They're willing to serve the people. They're willing to fight for the people, even and then that's how they got to that position. I think if it wealth out of morality, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Okay.
There's a difference between like, I'm gonna screw this guy over so I could get some money, and actually, building your wealth on a system. Because like, if you build a lot of wealth, right, then you probably build something that a lot of people want to have. So you're doing something that's giving to a lot of people. And so if you're working hard and doing that to give to a lot of people, then you should have that wealth. I think that's completely moral. But further from that, some like just a couple other examples, like the civil rights movement, also, Reverend, right, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Like all his principles for that movement was Judeo-Christian based. Obviously, he was a reverend. There's countless accounts of him praying on the civil rights movement and looking to God for his next move, and taking inspiration from that.
All right. So
like, yeah, I think all the major leaps like that have always came from that. All the major leaps for civilization, society, have been inspired by that, and if not, then just like an emphatic seeking of truth is like one or the other.
Well, we still got a few major leaps to go before we're at that point, anyways. I'd say.
Well, yeah, because like now, dude, you wouldn't believe, like, I've been talking to people like the left's new thing is like they don't even believe in morals. Like they're like, oh yeah, like no, it's just like whatever you think that's moral. Like, I was like, really? Like, so like if you murder someone, that's not immoral? And they're like, no, if that person doesn't think it's immoral, then it's not. Then it's just subjective. They think morality is subjective. It's like
that doesn't. I shouldn't say it doesn't make any sense, but it's a terrible way to look at things.
It's how lost are you? Like that must be dark to be in. We're like really like you like we can't agree that that murdering someone is immoral anymore.
Now, can I kill the person who says that and they're okay with it? They just said it's okay for me to do it because I thought it was okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like
as long as I can justify it in my head, it's okay. Or even if I'm just like that's what I want to do, that's what I'm gonna do. Or I want people to respect that that's my decision.
Yeah. You know, like Ted Bundy or Charles Manson or these guys, like, hey, they're like, no, he should just be able to like kill and eat people because, like, hey, that's his morals, man. It's all subjective, you know. Like, why are you trying to arrest him? Why do you want Charles Manson locked up? It's like,
you gotta go back to super simple thoughts like treat others the way you would like to be treated. You know, like common sense.
Yeah, like. Because like if we don't have just like the base, we can't have.
If somebody does tell me that, they deserve to get punched in the face right then and there, and I'm just like, you should be okay with that because I'm okay with that.
Yeah, like yeah, it's like if like just bam, sock him in the face. Hey man, that's my morals, man.
I would feel justified in doing that though. Like that would be okay with me. They really should respect that.
Yeah, because there's no possible way to have any society if we can't agree that killing each other is bad. It's like, okay, just forget everything now. Yeah. like why? Yeah.
Back to kindergarten, folks.
Yeah.
I hope I don't meet any of those people.
Just man, follow my Facebook.
I probably won't actually punch them. I'm not that kind of person, but I want to.
Follow my Facebook. A lot of them follow me. And they'll just like hate watch. like I strongly disagree with you. Right, man. You don't gotta follow me. Like, I don't know what to tell you. That's what I think. Like you strongly disagree. That's cool. Freedom of speech and whatnot.
You have every right to disagree with me. That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're working yourself up so much over this, though. It's not that big.
Yeah, no, but like you wouldn't believe like Steven, I had like hundreds of comments on this one about like, no, morality is subjective. Like cause like, see, my heart wants to like talk to these people and be like, all right, maybe if I like talk to them with reason and compassion, like they'll look at it and think like, oh yeah.
You'll go in circles.
Or
you might have gone in circles.
Or just like wasting my time like talking to people who are like I shouldn't even waste time talking to. Like sometimes I don't know.
A lot of those arguments are just fallacies too. It's like just ways to twist words around into making it mean whatever you want it to mean, and really it's just you trying to be right and for the other person to be wrong. It doesn't, and that's no way to argue with people. You know,
right?
You got to be able to be wrong too.
But the thing is, it's like you can't even argue with people though if we can't even have like what used to be like, you know, the standardized like, all right, we all know this to be true.
Right. Yeah, like, no, because we still got these flat Earth people. You know.
Yeah, right. It's like killing is bad. Used to be, you know, analogous to 2 + 2 = 4.
Right.
But But we can't even say that anymore.
The only time I feel okay with killing somebody is if my life is threatened. If I'm worried that I might die, if I don't kill this person, then I feel okay with killing that person. Any other situation, it's not okay.
Yeah, which is why I even tried like clarifying my stance to these people. I was like, no, like, all right, like, so not just killing, but murder, which is, you know, the kill, you know, the killing of an innocent life, right? And they're like, oh, well, murder and killing's the same thing. And I was like, oh, holy shit, dude. Go buy a dictionary, please. Murder and killing is like there's a big difference.
You don't murder an animal for dinner, you know, right when you go hunting.
Exactly.
I feel like we're a little off topic at this point. Good talk. I feel like we can keep going for a while on this.
Well, when you talk about Judeo-Christian values, eventually you have to get to killing because you know, they killed our Lord and Savior. So,
right?
Yeah.
First recorded hate crime.
First recorded. He had dark skin, so. Yeah, I think that's what it really is. They didn't kill Jesus because he said he was the Messiah. They killed him because he was a darky.
Yeah, if he was white, none of this would ever happen.
Yeah. Like if you think about it, there could be no Christianity without dark people.
Oh shit.
Oh goodness. All right. So with that, I think we'll wrap it up.
Right.
Yeah. This has been figured out.
Any way you want to wrap it up?
Oh, I'm thinking of a new segment because I recently posted this today. So if we each start doing like a question of the week.
Okay.
So the one.
It's gonna be a surprise.
Yeah.
Like straight, like you're not gonna know what my question is, and I'm not gonna know what yours is.
Yeah. So the one I had put was so I just posted this as like question to the grandparents out there. Is having grandchildren like re-enjoying your youth and old age?
All right. I wonder, because you, as a grandparent, you're not even really living vicariously through them anymore, but you're remembering what it was like hella years ago, just to.
Yeah, because like I mean, you're just like watching your DNA scamper around all youthful again. And you're just like,
right.
That's a trip, man. That's a trip right there.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to think of one, or what we could discuss that.
Yeah, we'll start doing those each week. By the way, oh wait, I forgot what I was gonna say. I totally had another thought right now. But yeah, it flew the coop.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, we'll add those each week.
That sounds good. Yeah, I'm down for that. I don't know. For me, I haven't been doing too many of the charity miles because it's been hella hot outside and my car.
That was my thought. Thank you. It was gonna be about the charity miles.
Okay. Well, there you go.
I had 28 point something, 28, 29 charity miles last week.
Yeah, see, mine's in the teens. I was pretty low. Yeah, I got my car pretty much fixed now. It's still got some tweaks it needs done. But it runs, it gets me to and from work, so it gets me around town. So I haven't been biking to and from work on that 105-degree heat out here.
Yeah. Summer them charity miles. Yeah, they need to give double miles during the summer, right?
Yeah, that shit's rough.
But you know what? I never really like flipped around and looked at the other tabs on charity miles really before. I don't know why, but you can have teams on there. So we should definitely create a team. And yeah,
I'll get Wade and Tyler on too.
Yeah, because then we'll be able to. It gives you more points if you're on a team. So our 30 miles will be worth more. And then we'll let the people know next week what our team is. And
try to get more people to join us.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
All right, people.
Let's set that up.
Miles. We'll let you know the team next week. Woo!
Sounds good.
Figure it out.
Figure it out. All right, man.